With the discovery of a couple new skips, I figured it was time to revisit the overall state of boss skips in Dark Souls. In this video, we'll be looking at every boss skip I'm aware of, as well as how to perform them. Let's begin. Starting off, we have the classic Asylum skip. Simply drain the demon's health to 0 in the initial encounter with him, then warp or save and quit before victory achieved pops up. Despite what some try to argue, the game doesn't consider a boss dead until victory achieved appears, and the game's rule is law. When the demon's health reaches 0, Oscar is set to give us the big Pilgrim's Key, and from there we can head back into the demon's arena with him alive and well. Open the door, and there's not much he can do to stop you from leaving. Now, if you don't want to use that version of the skip, on the remastered version of the game we have another method of skipping the fight called True Asylum Skip. This takes advantage of a remaster exclusive glitch known as Pick Up and Enter, Drop AFK, or simply the Fog Gate glitch. To perform this skip, you'll want to drop an item at the right corner of the Fog Gate, tilt the camera all the way down, and line it up so the top left corner of the Souls box is touching this line. From there, you need to turn forward without moving. You can do this easily by either zooming with a bow or binding walk forward to the scroll wheel and scrolling for a single tick. Once that's done, you need to confirm entering the Fog Gate, followed by confirming picking up the item 1 frame later. Use either your controller for the first input and your keyboard for the second, or have 2 confirm bindings on keyboard and use one followed by the other. This will cause your character to enter at a weird angle and end up in the wall. Simply wait for your character to rise up a bit and jump over the railing to freedom. Following that, we have the Taurus Demon, and there's a number of methods to skip him. First, you can just use the Master Key to either go through Havel's Tower or the New Londo Ruins door. If you didn't start with the Master Key, it's still possible to skip him by heading through New Londo Ruins, killing Ingward, and opening the seal. From there, you can directly access the Valley of Drakes. If neither of those are doing it for you, you can take out the barrel pushing hollow, jump over the railing, and save and quit. You'll load back in on the railing, and if you jump and plunge over here, you'll land on stable ground for Darkroot Basin. From there, perform a Force Quit Wrong Warp, and you'll end up at the beginning of Darkroot Garden. Next up is the Capra Demon. Head into the Burg and jump through the gap in the wall. On the remaster, if you climb onto the nearby ladder, back off, and turn around as your character fully stands up, you'll end up on top of it. From there, you can follow this path to get back in bounds in the depths. The ladder isn't bugged in the original version of the game, and fun fact, also not in version 1.00 of the remaster, but Eloise found it was possible to do the same skip using a precise jump. You need to jump at the brick on the ground closest to the ladder, and after getting bounced over the ladder, save and quit before touching the ground. The jump is pretty hard to do, and there also seems to be some RNG with whether the bounce will actually land you on the railing or not, but it is possible. Of course, there's also the original death cam method of the skip. If you make a precise jump over to this chimney, followed by another precise jump towards the very back of the alley, you can hit a death cam trigger and land in bounds. Navigate your way past the wall, then immediately turn towards your character's right to go down the stairs. You should now be moving towards the top of the screen. Follow that for a bit before making another right, where you'll want to continue moving forward and to your character's right until you slip through the doorway. Past that point, you'll fall through the ground where you'll want to save and quit. Load back in, and you'll be past the door to the depths. The final option for skipping the Capra Demon is to set up Poop Walk and climb on the ladder. You'll fall off halfway down, where you'll land on the tunnel. Reload, and you can do the rest of the skip as normal. Moving on, we're on to the Gargoyles. Unfortunately, there's no known way to skip them on Remastered. On the original version of the game, there's no known way to skip them with a single character, but if we use multiple, a skip is possible. I have a video which goes over this skip in detail, but I'll give a quick rundown here. First, set up the ladder storage glitch discovered by Eloise on the ladder after the Gargoyles. This is done by performing a critical attack on the same frame as getting on the ladder. Your stable position will be locked to the place you were standing before interacting with the ladder, which is important. From there, make your way all the way to Anor Londo without breaking ladder storage, and invade Lautrec with the Black Eye Orb. Because we invaded him with ladder storage active, our invasion coordinates will be placed back at the ladder. Now create a new character. When a new character is created, they inherit whatever invasion coordinates are already loaded in memory, in this case, the ones at the ladder after the Gargoyles. Bring your new character close enough to the coordinates so the collision for the area is loaded, then switch over to another character who has the purple Coward's Crystal. Head into the water in front of where the Hydra was to load the DLC map, then perform the item swap glitch with the crystal. Run up to the ladder to unload the DLC map, and as long as you're undead, the PCC Storage Invasion Point Wrong Warp glitch, discovered by Kumul, will trigger. You'll be booted back to the menu, and if you now load the new character, they'll be placed at their invasion coordinates, completely bypassing the Gargoyles. Next up is the Moonlight Butterfly. This is the one skip I have not, and likely never will, perform myself. But YouTuber Pinball Cat demonstrated that by triggering the death cam at the bottom of Darkroot Basin, it's possible to navigate all the way up past the butterfly's fog gates and access the area behind them. I'll leave a link in the description to Pinball Cat's video, where you can see how the skip is done in its entirety. On to Pinwheel. This one's really simple. Grab the Eyes of Death, take a nap in the coffin, and you'll be transported to stable ground in the Tomb of the Giants. Force quit Wrong Warp, and you're done. The Gaping Dragon can be skipped just by taking the back entrance to Blighttown, so we'll be moving on to Quelaag. You'll need to have already triggered her cutscene, and from there we can skip past her fog gates by abusing the death cam. First, follow this path to get onto this pillar. Heal up, and slowly walk off of the edge to drop down to the platform below. Backstep when you land, as there's a kill plane directly in front of us, heal up again, and save and quit to reset the camera. Put the Zweihander in your right hand and have your left hand empty, then jump over the dark spot on the floor to trigger the death cam again. Walk off the end of the platform to the left, do a plunge attack, and mash roll to land safely below. Alternatively, you can jump off to the branch off to the right, then heal up and drop down. It doesn't require a specific weapon, but it is a bit slower. From there, you'll need to navigate your way over to Quelaag's boss room. Just like with the Capra death cam, the map's visuals will stop being loaded, so you'll need to navigate your way through blindly. I keep moving to the right until I hit a wall, which is the outside of the bell tower. Follow that wall up, and you'll be wrapped over to the right again. You essentially want to keep moving to the right from there until you hit another wall and are forced to move up again, which tells you that you've made it to the stable ground of the stairs after the boss room. Ceaseless is next, and his skip doesn't require any glitches. By removing all of your equipment and rolling to certain places along the right side of the lava lake, it's possible to make it all the way across without dying. The hardest part is the initial drop, but it's made easier by using fall control. For the Stray Demon, you can just completely avoid him. If you want to be as funny as possible with it, just force quit Wrong Warp to the starting cell. On to the Iron Golem. This skip is remastered exclusive as it relies on a grab cancel, and grab cancels don't launch you nearly as far on the original version of the game due to it running at 30 FPS rather than 60. You need to have the golem facing towards the back of the arena, then hit him with an ultra greatsword running attack from as far under him as possible at the same time he grabs you. If your angle and launch are good, you'll land in the platform under the first gargoyle in Nan Orlando, where you can force quit wrong warp to the start of the area. Now, if you're wondering why grab cancels launch you, it's not fully understood. But going by observation, what I believe is happening is that the game is applying velocity to your character to move them to the location of the start of the grab. This velocity is normally stopped by the grab animation, but because the grab is cancelled, your character keeps that velocity. The farther away from where your character is supposed to be at the start of the grab animation, the more velocity is applied, and the farther you go. So to successfully land in Anne Orlando, you need there to be a straight line between your character, the starting point of the grab, and the platform in Anne Orlando, which is exactly aligned with the back of the Golem's arena. With those conditions met, if you have enough velocity, you'll make it all the way there. Fun fact, if the Golem is too far back in his arena, you can actually get too much velocity and overshoot the platform. On the original version of the game, the PCC Storage Invasion Point Wrong Warp can also be used to skip the Iron Golem, but you won't be able to skip the Gargoyles on the same character. Ornstein and Smough sadly have no known skip on either version of the game, so no Lord Vessel without beating them. Priscilla might be tied with the Stray Demon for easiest boss skip, as you can simply walk past her and leave. Kamol discovered that by abusing ladder storage in the Hornet Ring, if you run out of stamina during the final part of the riposte animation, it's possible to clip through some walls. Using the Firekeeper, he was able to clip into the front of the main Anne Orlando Keep and meme roll down past Gwyndolин's fight trigger. When I tried this myself, however, I kept hitting a kill plane and I couldn't seem to make it work, so I came up with a slightly different method. First, use one of the Guardians to set up ladder storage. From there, head inside the keep, guide the Balder Knight NPC over to one of the sets of stairs, and trap him in the corner of where the bricks are sticking out. Use him to riposte clip, and you should go through the wall to under the stairs. From there, you can meme roll down to Gwyn's tomb without having to deal with any pesky kill planes. The Firesage Demon is next. First, jump up behind the rockworm near where the golden fog gate is. If you walk backwards into the wall and melee with a medium shield right as the worm's grab animation starts, you'll cause a grab cancel that'll knock you through the ground to the ceiling of the Centipede Demon's arena. You can get back in bounds by running over here. On the original version of the game, we can instead make NG mad and shove him over here. Once you've got him trapped in the gap by the stairs and facing towards you, smack him with the staff to tilt him downwards and cast fall control. When he grabs you, you'll go right through the floor. From there, drop down and jump towards the corner of the golden fog gate. If you land right in the corner like I did, you can jump forward to get down to where we want to be. Drop down from here, jump across, and you'll be on top of the Centipede Demon's arena, where you can get back in bounds. Onto the Centipede Demon, you'll first want to cut off and kill his tail for the orange charred ring. Next, trap him behind the two tree roots near the fog gate. Like with the Iron Golem, you'll want to perform a grab cancel on him, angled towards the lava fall. If done right, you'll end up on the other side of the wall, past the fog gate. I believe this skip is possible on both versions of the game, but it'll be harder on the original due to the nature of grab cancels. Of course, if the golden fog gate isn't in your way, you can always just give Quelaag's sister 30 soft humanity and open the door straight to the bed of chaos instead. There's no skip for Sif on New Game, but it's possible to smuggle the Covenant of Artorias into New Game Plus through the use of stale slots, which allows immediate access to the Four Kings. I cover this in more detail in my video on the Soul's inventory system. On to the newest skip, and the one that inspired me to make this video. Guardian skip. Before we get into how it's done, I want to give a quick rundown of how it all came together. Back in September, I shared a clip showing you could clip into a tree root by the Guardian's arena entrance using the fog gate glitch. The root lifts you up a little bit before forcing your character out. If you jump before your character is forced out, they get launched almost high enough to get up top, but I couldn't quite get it to work. Fast forward to February, and a speedrunner by the name of San discovered that by performing the fog gate glitch from as far away from the fog gate as possible, with a precise angle, it was possible to clip deeper into the root and get lifted much higher before your character is forced out. With this higher lift, it was now possible to get to the top of the arena if you jump just before your character is pushed out of the branch. Now we could get up top, but unfortunately, you couldn't get back in bounds to Ulasil Sanctuary. San had accidentally touched stable ground on the right side of the arena when testing, and so the method for getting back in bounds turned out to not actually work. This is where I come back in. I had a bit of an advantage for finding a way back in bounds, as back when I initially looked at the tree route, I had messed around a bit with the top of the arena to see if there even was a plausible way to get to the sanctuary if you got up there. The right side seemed like a bust, even though you could get pretty close in a couple spots. I noted two important things on the left side, however. One, that if you could get up on this branch, it was possible to get back in bounds. Two, that it was possible to jump over the branch. This is noteworthy because a lot of the time in Dark Souls, if you can jump over something, it's possible to land on top of it as well. I didn't spend too much time on seeing if you could actually land on the branch, however, as we didn't even have a way to get up top. But now with San's new discovery, I knew the branch was our best shot at completing the skip. And so I went to the branch and got to jumping. I found a little spot on the side you can run up before you jump, and eventually this happened. As soon as I landed up there, I knew the skip was complete. Now for the whole skip. For doing the first part without external tools to monitor your character's angle, I like to go right to the corner of the fog gate and look for this A shape on the ground. I then line up the top of the magic box with the cross in the A and zoom with the bow. From there, move back step by step until the tip of the short bow is no longer clipping into the wall. Zoom with the bow, look all the way down, angle the camera so the final digit of the souls box is behind the geometry, and you're set to do the glitch. Keep walking towards the wall as you're lifted up, and when the camera pops out for the second time, immediately run and jump. From there, run in a circle onto the base of the tree, and jump the rest of the way up. When you get over to this hill, you'll hit a wall as you're running, and you'll want to jump as you do. Do that a second time to get up here. You'll now want to run up the side of the branch, starting around where the leaves are, and jump towards the top when you're by the brown spot on the side. It's pretty precise, so it can take a handful of tries. Carefully walk onto the next branch, as it's easy to slide off and get stuck. From there, just follow the branch the rest of the way to get back in bounds in the sanctuary. Following that, we have Artorias, and he's a bit easier to skip. Cast Fall Control and meme roll your way down this elevator shaft. That's all there is to it. It can be done without Fall Control using the FAP ring or a more complicated delayed roll setup, but Fall Control makes it nice and easy. Manus and Calamite don't have anything to skip to, so we're on to the 4 lords. All 4 lords can be skipped using your choice of wrong warp. So either Force Quit wrong warp, Homeward wrong warp, or Purple Coward's Crystal wrong warp your way to the kiln, and you're set. And so that concludes all of the boss skips I'm aware of. What's missing? A single character method for skipping the Gargoyles, or any skip at all for Remastered, any skip at all for Ornstein and Smough, a new game skip for Sif, and as unlikely as it seems, any skip for Gwyn. For an honorable mention, as it's not directly a boss skip, A skip from Nito's Golden Foggate would also be pretty big for something like Reverse Boss Order. But that's where we're at for now. I hope you found this video helpful or entertaining, and I will see you guys in another video.